Morning. Yes, it's what's the time? It is 1 minute to 9 on Friday, the 16th of February 2018, and I am recording my waffle. I'm on holiday again today. I've had quite a few days to take up, so I've just been taking Fridays off. So I thought I would take advantage of A, the wife being at work, and B, my daughter being at school. I mean, she's only at school until midday, so I thought I'll get the waffle out the way nice and early. Now, I'm not saying that this camera thing is going to be a permanent fixture. I thought I would give it a go. It's a Logitech webcam. Now, I thought it was quite a good one, but as you can probably tell, the video quality is not the greatest. It doesn't do 60 frames a second. It doesn't even do that higher resolution. So, but the reason I'm trying it is A, I wanted to see how it kind of turns out, and B, I want to see. I should be able to render the video a lot quicker than recording it with the camera. And as you know, when I use my not my camera, when I use my my phone, I can only record, I don't know how long. I think the file size goes up to 4 gig, and then I've got to stop it, and then I've got to restart it, and you always get a wee chunky sort of video missing, which is a pain in the arse. So yeah, but I know you don't watch the video to look at me. It's all about what noise I make. That's about the size of it. So anyway, yeah, it's the weekend almost, thank goodness. What have I been doing this week? I was at my computer club on Tuesday. Yeah, computer club on Tuesday. Really good. I took along a thing which I've not let you see. I'll probably put that video out next week. Took that along. This week, what have I been doing with myself? I was playing. I was actually playing my Amstrad GX 4000 last night. Some clever guy has managed to convert a lot of Amstrad CPC 464 games to run in the sort of little console. So it's a really good way of playing it. So that was good fun. Yeah, last weekend, last Saturday, I was down in Blackpool. Now I was going to make a video, you know, when I was going down there, and I started recording a bit of footage when we went to like Gretna Green for a something tea, but when I got down there, I thought, oh, is there really any point in recording it, because all I would be recording was me walking about, videoing the stalls and that kind of thing. And to be honest, when you've seen one of these videos, you've seen them all. I mean, there's plenty. If you want to see what it was like, there's plenty of other videos that have done the very same thing. So I thought, nah, I'm just going to enjoy myself. I'm just going to go down and enjoy it, and never mind recording a video. So I did just that. But yeah, we got down there. What time? We got down there for about 10 to 10. It opened at 10. There was a bit of queue. Now I was lucky enough, because I'm part of a Retro and Limb. Steve managed to get me a press pass. The only problem was I had my two mates, my daughter and her friend with her, so I don't think it would have been cricket if I had just wandered in and let them stand in the queue. So I waited in the queue like the rest of the plebs. It was quite a big queue, but I eventually got in there about the back of 10, I think it was. And, when you've been to one of these events, you've been to them all. It's the same thing, it's the same games. One thing that slightly disappoints me with all these events is it seems to be the same arcade games, every single year. I mean, I'm trying to think. A game I don't think I've ever seen there is Terra Cresta. I've never seen Commando. What other games have I never seen? I mean, Galaga was there, Star Wars was there. Yeah, it's always the same. It's always the same offenders that are there. I mean, I was delighted to see Berserk was there again. I managed to get 17,000. 17,000 on that. But my mate Dave, who is a ridiculously talented video player, he put 90,000 on it, and Dave holds the world record for Galaxian. And in fact, Dave was one of the first guys I bumped into, so I was watching him playing Galaxian for a wee while. Other games, I'm trying to think other notable exceptions. there was a Paperboy, and I thought, oh, have a go at that, because I mean, I made an arcade perfect my arse, and I'd mentioned I'd never actually played Paperboy before in arcades. Well, sadly, this one wasn't working though. I was talking to a mate, and he was there the 2 days, and he said it was working on the Sunday. But yeah, I mean, it was the usual. It had the, I don't know how many arcade machines there were, maybe about 60, 70, something like that, I don't know. The further at the back, they had a large stage. What they had on the stage, I don't know. I think they had the cosplay. Now, one thing that annoys me about the cosplay, it's not for everybody. Certainly not for me. And yeah, it's certainly not for probably the majority of people that go to these events. But the noise, I'm just going to narrow this down because it's really bright. That's better. The noise was, you know, the guy doing the announcements. It was way too loud. I mean, you can't, even without that, they don't have, because all the machines are all together, you don't really get to hear the sound. So you're effectively playing arcade games with no sound, which is a bit rubbish, to be honest with you. I mean, in an arcade, you always got to hear your game. So yeah, the cosplay noise could have been, you know, turned down a bit. They had the usual PlayStation 4s, SNESes, Mega Drives, all the usual, but I always find it pointless to actually play any of these because I've got all these systems at home and I don't travel 4 hours in the car to play games that I've already got. You're probably saying, well, you're playing Berserk and that, but getting to play proper arcade games is always something quite special. They had the trade stall, and got to say, I wasn't impressed. I think I went in maybe 3 times, wandered around it. As others have mentioned before, the prices, they're not competitive at all. Now, I know people say, you know, but you buy on eBay, you've got to wait for it, you've got to pay postage. There's no guarantee of the condition. You don't know what the condition's going to be. And that's true, but you know, the prices are very, very, very on the high side. To the point that I was looking and I thought, nah, not paying that. I mean, to be fair, there wasn't really any games that I was after. I mean, I'm not a collector. I buy games just to play now because I've got EverDrives for most of my systems. You know, I've got all the games there, so I don't go looking for games as such. The only game I got last year was, it was Gradius 5 for the PlayStation 2. But, excuse me, yeah, prices were on the high side. But the highlight for me with Play Blackpool is getting to meet friends and people I've never met before. I met a lot of YouTubers. I met Scott, I met Chris Novabug, I met Steve from Retro and Lim, I met Pete on a retro tip. Blimey, who else did I meet? I must have met other people, you know, my mind's gone completely blank. Yeah, I met the Dutch contingent, Wouter, I met Carstardo. By the way, Carstardo also met Mark, Lactobacillus Prime, and is it Ms. Lemon? I don't actually know her at all. I saw her as well. I said hello to her. Carstardo, I didn't actually realise that you were Erwin on Facebook, because your profile picture on Erwin on Facebook is a close-up of your eye, and I never actually put 2 and 2 together and realised that you were Carstardo. I knew Carstardo, but I didn't know who Erwin was. Now, you always like videos and you comment on videos and you like things on Facebook, but I didn't realise that was you. So apologies, I now know that's you. Because I know you as Carstardo at these events, but I didn't realise that you were Erwin. I'm absolutely shit with names, as you can probably tell. I also met Chris, Gadget UK Gaming as well. If I've missed anybody out, humble apologies. I've got a terrible memory, as you probably know. But yeah, it's all about the people. People talk about YouTube as being quite a sort of a hollow experience. impersonal because you're talking to unknown people. And yeah, that's partly true. You are talking to, there's people that will probably watch your videos you'll never ever meet in real life. You know, you could anybody with an internet connection can effectively watch your videos. But I think when you go to these events, you realise that it is a real thing. These are guys that I did not know until I started making YouTube videos and watching YouTube videos, and I now consider them friends. So it is absolutely a real thing. You know, and it's great to catch up. The big downer for me with only going for one day is you've got, I mean, you get in there at 10, it closes at 6. You've obviously got to go and get something to eat and that kind of stuff. So you've got 8 hours. Now that seems like a long time, but when you're going down there and, you know, you want to play video games, you want to go to the talks, and most importantly, you want to talk to people, it's not long. The time quickly runs out. And yeah, I didn't speak to people for anywhere near the length of time that I wanted to speak to. Yeah, I mean, I met John Studley, my mate John, he's Pac-Man extraordinaire, Tony Temple, Big Tone, he was there as well with his mate James. So yeah, I was conscious of rushing. I mean, I know Novabug, he was wanting to do some interviews with YouTubers and just get their feeling about the show and their channel, and Chris was wanting to speak to me, and I was absolutely up for doing it. But then he disappeared, and then everyone else disappeared, and before I know it, by the time I caught up with Chris, it was kind of time to go home. So yeah, when you're going down there for one day, it's very, very, very difficult to try and fit everybody in. Yeah, you can say hello to people, but I want to be able to not be rushing away. I want to be able to sit with these guys at the bar, have a beer, have a chat. So I think next year I'm planning to go down for 2 days. The only problem is, if my daughter goes, she gets kind of bored. I mean, I think it was about 1 o'clock on the Saturday, she said to me, you know, what time are we going home at, Dad? And I'm like, well, we're staying here till the end. And she's like, So yeah, if I was to go for 2 days, she might get bored, but it's my thing. This is my thing. So, you know, if she doesn't want to go for 2 days, then she'll not be going. Simple as that. So yeah, next year, hopefully try and get down for 2 days, and I would be able to spend, I wouldn't be rushing about, and that's the problem. I rush about, you're conscious, so I need to go here, I need to do this, I need to do that. If I went for 2 days, I'd have a lot long. I could spend a whole day just socialising with friends. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, when you go for 2 days, you've got the added expense of hotels and that kind of stuff. But the other part of the other tubers that I met, I got to meet Kim Justice. Now, she is a really, really nice person. If you've never watched Kim's videos, you really need to. I mean, she does it full time. Her content is documentary style. I mean, I do the Blind Mates Only, not the Blind Mates Only. I do the They Did What, where I look at software companies. But she's full time. She's got a lot more time than myself, but she goes into so much detail. She does a lot of research. She did a kind of media degree at university, so she's got the background, and her videos are absolutely top notch. I also met Daniel Iberson, I think that's how you pronounce your name, Daniel, who does Slopes Game Room. Now, Daniel has got an amazing channel. He does a lot of the top 3 Kickstarters, why they failed, or you know, various things. He put out a really good video the other day there about why Nintendo condoned piracy, yet they actually did piracy themselves. They put out a game on the virtual console which was actually a pirate copy. So Daniel does these amazing videos, really good. Now I got to meet Daniel. I stopped him to have a chat to in the Traders Hall on Saturday. Really top bloke, really, really nice guy. Sadly, Stuart Ashens, he was down there along with Retro Gaming Nerd, Nostalgia Nerd. No, 8-Bit Gaming Nerd, is that his name? I think it is. Who I wasn't aware of before, but I've now subscribed to him. He does a really good channel. So yeah, there was they two guys, there was Kim Justice and there was Daniel, and they were doing a talk on the Sunday. Unfortunately, I was only there on the Saturday, so I missed it. But Retro and Lim did a really good recording of it, so you can go and check it out. I would love to have met Stuart Ashens. Yeah, I don't mind admitting I would have been a wee bit starstruck. That's a guy that I've watched for such a long time. He was a massive reason for me getting into doing videos. Some of my style, I kind of base on Ashens. I mean, he's got such a great way of presenting videos, and you know, he's definitely a massive inspiration to myself. So I never got to meet these guys. I'd love to have met them, but they didn't go down until the Sunday. So, but no, I had a really good time in Blackpool. Like I said, it was all about the people for me. I had my usual chat with Jim Bagley. Jim had done a talk on the Spectrum Next. So that was all good. Yeah, so that was Blackpool. Right, let me just bring up the wonderful thing that because I'm talking on the webcam, I can just bring up me topics. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it slightly larger. Said the bishop to the nun. Right. Okay, right. The one I was looking through some. It's when I was down at Blackpool. Actually, I saw this and I thought that would make an interesting sort of topic to talk about. Was the in-game screenshots may vary a tactic to sell pish games. Now, if you were an 8-bit gamer, or I'm going to narrow that down again, or even a 16-bit gamer, you would have all seen the you'd been John Menzies, you'd been Boots, wherever you bought your games, you'd be sitting. You'd be standing, browsing the shelf, going along, looking at all the games, and you would pick up a game, you would look at it, and one of the common tactics they used back in the 8-bit games, 8-bit days, and even the 16-bit days as well, was rather than put a screenshot of the actual version that you were buying on the back, a lot of the time they would put either like a 16-bit version, like they would put the Commodore Amiga version, or even worse, they would show you the arcade in-screen game shots, or in-game screenshots I should say. Now, was that a sneaky tactic to make you buy a game that looked good even though it was shit? I think it possibly was, because, well, there's two arguments to it. You could say, if I was going to be the devil's advocate and say, well, no, not at all. The reason they did that was because they were selling this game on multiple formats. So you had your Commodore 64, you had your Sinclair Spectrum, you had your Amstrad, you had your BBC, you had your Commodore Amiga, your Atari ST. So rather than make a box with individual screenshots for each individual system, they could just put the arcade screenshot on and use that for every version. So yeah, that's a possible argument why they would do that. But it was definitely misleading, because I've lost count the number of games that you would pick the box up, and you'd look at it. I mean, the best example probably would be, in fact, I'll need to have a look and see if I can find it. What I'll do actually, as I'm talking, I'll see if I can find any boxes, and I'll show you the box next to the actual game. I'll put it up in the, one of the corners of this video. But yeah, I can remember picking up some game boxes, I don't know, Chase HQ or something. I don't know if that was one of them, but you would look at the screenshots and it would be either the 16-bit or it would be the arcade one, and 9 times out of 10 it would look really impressive. Then you'd get home and you'd load it up and it would be a pile of wank. It would be absolutely awful. Nothing like the game that was on the box. So was that a sneaky tactic to sell games? I'm hoping to. I was actually speaking to Gary Bracey again on Facebook the other day there, and I'm hoping to get Gary back on, because I think there's still a lot of unanswered questions that I'd like to ask Gary about Ocean, and just generally the sort of 8-bit days, or 16-bit days as well actually. There's a lot of stuff I'd like to ask Gary again, and that would be one of them. Was putting arcade screenshots on boxes a deliberate ploy to try and con people into buying a game, knowing full well that the actual game was shite? Now I know that wouldn't be the case all the time. You know, there's probably plenty of games that used the arcade screenshot in the box, but actually turned out to be good. So yeah, that's the argument why they would use one screenshot, because it was easier, because it was the same box. But then why would they, sometimes they would feature the Atari ST or the Commodore Amiga. Now the thing is, as we all know, even being an early adopter of these computers, the graphics on the Atari ST and Commodore Amiga, even in the early days, the graphics were always top notch. They always looked really, really nice. But unfortunately, the gameplay and the update of the graphics never quite matched the graphics. Especially, I'm talking about the early days. You know, a lot of the time the ports. I mean, the best example would be like I don't know, Power Drift or Outrun or even Chase HQ. You know, statically wise, the games looked amazing, but then when the games actually start seeing them move, and you realise just how god awful they are. So if they were to go to the lengths of using an Amiga screenshot, that would indicate that they felt that they're using the best version to sell the game. You know, if they didn't use the arcade one, well, let's use the Commodore Amiga one. And you can understand that, yeah, they're using the best version to sell the game. But the problem being is, not everybody was buying the Commodore Amiga one. So they're advertising a product that you are not actually buying. So, you know, if you're buying the Spectrum one or the BBC one or the C64 one, it's not going to look like the Commodore Amiga one. So I am very, very suspicious. I do personally think that it was a ploy to sell games that they knew looked shit. They might have not been shit, but the thing is, before the internet, nowadays we've got YouTube, we've got the internet. If you go to buy a game, the first thing you do is you go into YouTube and you'll type in the name, you'll see the game running, you'll see exactly what you're going to be getting. But back in the 80s, we didn't have that luxury. It was magazines. I mean, I very rarely, to be fair, very rarely would I pick up and buy a game without reading a review of it, you know. But I did on the odd occasion, certainly in the early days, you know, before magazines were really a thing. You'd be browsing, you'd been, you know, W.H. Smith, or in my case, I would be in Ray's computer shop, looking at the games, and you'd pick the box up, you'd look at the cover art, and like, wow, that looks amazing, you know. Pick the box up, and you'd look at the back of it, and think, whoa, look at that, that's incredible. And you would buy it, and then you'd load it up, and you'd go, my goodness, that is nothing like what's on it. And then you look at the box again, and it would say, game shots taken from arcade version. Other versions may vary. I think that was their get out clause for doing that. But I'm a suspicious old bugger. I think they did it to try and sell games. What do you think? Do you think it was a deliberate ploy to fool us? What do you call it? Members of the public into paying money for a crap game, thinking it looks amazing, or do you think it was just because it was easier to have one screenshot on every version? Let me know what you think. That would be quite an interesting thing to hear your views on it. So yeah, let's I'll have a wee drink of my tea while I'm looking at the very first one. Right, okay, I'm just going to fire on with the questions. Right, Batman, now he only posted that 2 minutes ago, well it was about half an hour ago, so you've managed to just get in and beat the bell. In fact, I tell a lie, yeah, if I had made this at night then this would have definitely got in, but anyway, I'm talking nonsense. Right, once popular game styles that have generally disappeared, street brawlers like Final Fight, joystick wagglers like Decathlon, and anything else you can think of, do you think any of these styles will re-emerge even in the form of indie titles, or are they gone for good, only to be remembered by us old retro gamers? Mainmeister, it's over to you. I'm going to narrow it down because it's white and it's really quite so nice. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but these styles have generally kind of vanished. Saying that, I have seen, when you go to these play events, you do see well, not a lot, but I have seen quite a few indie sort of like side brawlers. You know, you do still get them made. I think the target market has moved on. You know, they're more sophisticated now than what we were. I mean, when you think of a joystick waggler, it is the most basic form of playing a game. You basically, you hammer the joystick left to right as quickly as possible. I mean, people going about how many Kempston joysticks or Quickshot 2 joysticks they ruined playing Daley Thompson's Decathlon on the Spectrum. I personally never broke a joystick playing joystick wagglers. I mean, I loved them. I absolutely loved Decathlon type games. I really did. And I would love to see modern versions. I mean, I would love to see excuse me, I would love to see a really good sort of Olympic style decathlon type game. I mean, I know you do still get when the Olympics come out, you still get the video game. Saying that, is it Pyeongchang, whatever it's called, Olympics is on at the moment. I've not seen any of it other than one of the what do you call it, snowboarding events where you kind of race. It's quite good fun. I don't recall seeing a video game. Now that must be one of the first sort of Olympics to not have a video game. Have I missed it? Is there a video game? I'll need to go and check it out actually. In fact, let me just this is a good thing about being able to talk to a webcam. I'm actually going to Google while we speak. So let me just get my keyboard and move that out the road. I can't even, let's see, Olympics, Winter Olympics, Winter Olympic Games, right, here's, oh no, that'll be Winter Olympic Games, right, Winter Olympic 2018 video games, Olympic video games, what's it saying here, list of games, official, Hyper Sports, what's that there? International Track and Field 1996, Hyper Sports by Konami. No, I think, I know there was, there we go, right, yeah, there we are. Official Olympic Games, you had Hyper Olympics in 1984, you had Olympic Gold 1992, Winter Olympics 1993, you had Athens, well there's Salt Lake City 2002, Athens 2004, Torino 2006, Beijing 2008, Vancouver 2010, London 2012, and there's one called here Steep Road to the Winter Olympics 2017. So it looks like the last official joystick wagglery type Olympic type game was London 2012, and we're now at 2018. There's been, obviously, there was Rio not 4 years ago, there was Rio in 2016, and obviously we had, is it Sochi? Sochi, I think it is. Sochi's a men's tailor, is it not? Sochi, that was, or Sochi, that was 4 years ago. There was no video game for it, and we've got the Pyeongchang, whatever it is, this year, and again there is no video game for it. So I think that tells its own story. I just think that, you know, as I says, the buying public's tastes have moved on. They don't want to play joystick wagglers. My daughter has never ever played track and field. I don't think it would be completely alien to her. I don't think it would be something that she would want to do. But then saying that, who knows? It would be really nice if an indie developer came out with a sort of joystick waggler. You know, I mean, I was a massive fan of them. I still do. I still love playing track and field. To me, it was the most physical aspect of a game. You know, to be good at it, you had to be, I wouldn't say athletic as such, but you had to be physically in good shape, whether it was just being able to move your fingers very quickly or waggle the joystick very, very quickly. I definitely miss them. But yeah, to get back on topic, but I think you're right. I don't think we're really going to see a return of these games. you know, I think the joystick waggler would probably be deemed kind of too crude. Even the controllers don't really lend themselves too well. But then saying that, you've got buttons. You could quite easily play a joystick waggler button basher using the controller. But I just think, obviously they've done. I would imagine that game developers have done their market research and probably found that there's not a demand for them. You know, they'd obviously bring out. The last one I remember was on the Wii. I think it was the London Olympics. They probably thought well, it didn't sell that many copies, and at the end of the day, it's all about making money for these guys. They don't make games just to make us happy. They make it, you know, to make money. And if games don't sell, they're not going to be making them. So yeah, I don't think we'll ever see the return of the joystick waggler, sadly. As far as, like I say, side-scrolling beat-em-ups like Final Fight, I have seen some of these. I saw one that looked quite interesting. Was it in Glasgow? They Play Glasgow event last year. There was one. It was a kind of side-scrolling. It looked like zombies. I didn't catch what it was, but I think there's quite a lot of these on Steam. But as far as a fully priced full release, I don't know. Again, I just think that, you know, I think the public have moved on. People my daughter's age, you know, that the target market never really played side-scrolling games. I mean, the scary thing is the PlayStation is, I don't know how old it is now. It's about 25 years old. The target market is probably people who were born after the PlayStation came out, so their tastes are different. So yeah, great question, but sadly I don't think we'll see the return of these. I would absolutely love to be proved wrong and see joystick wagglers coming out again. If you're an indie dev watching this, please make a joystick waggler or button basher athletic game. If you want it playtested, I'm your man. I love them to bits. I will be your bug hunter. So yeah. Right, thanks Bat, that was awesome. Next one up, Mr. Down the Rabbit Hole. The Nintendo 64 seems to be a very divisive. I can't speak at the moment. Console. Gamers of a certain age hate the machine, but it is beloved by another crowd. I have noticed it seems women gamers consider that machine their childhood, while men gamers of the same age vastly prefer the PS1. It also was a machine that was a far more of a multiplayer party console and less of a single player unit. What's your overall opinion on the N64? Let's narrow that down again. Yeah, Kev, I mean, I know you obviously watch my waffles. I'm not a fan of the N64. I got an N64 when it came out. I got Super Mario 64. I also bought Mario Kart, which I always think is probably the weakest out of all the different versions. Even, you know, the Nintendo DS and the 3DS. I got Turok Dinosaur Hunter, which I got bored of very quickly, and I got a few other games, but I never bought many games for it. Now, can I say I think that Mario 64 is an absolutely amazing game. It's the one N64 game that I miss being able to play. Now, I had an N64 back in the day, and I sold it to upgrade. I don't know what I bought. But I did buy an N64 maybe 5 years ago. I got an EverDrive for quite a good price, and I actually sold them both maybe a couple of years ago because I never played them. Simply never ever played it. It was the one system that I never played, and I didn't have any affection, or nostalgia to play it. I don't know what I think. I think a big part of it for me is the N64 does not look very good on modern TVs. I don't know what it must be. It must be the stylish graphic that they use, whatever. Even the PlayStation, doesn't look that great either. But I don't know what it is about the N64. It just doesn't translate very well to modern TVs. You know, possibly if you had an old CRT screen, it would look absolutely fine. So there's that. But I don't know what it was. There was very few games that really done anything for me. I mean, I bought GoldenEye. Who didn't buy GoldenEye? You know, it's one of the most. It's one of the most fondly remembered N64 games. And even back in, was it 1996 when I bought it, I just thought, you know, it was one of the first games to feature like. They had the skin, they're like, oh, you know, that's what they looked like. They had the skin textured around this sort of blocky polygon, and it just looked shit, you know. Yeah, it was the future, it was the sort of first, you know, one of the first machines or games I saw that had that, you know, photorealistic, but I just thought it looked rubbish. And that was even, you know, back in the day. And I also bought, what do you call it, the Zelda game. I can't remember what it was called. Is it Ocarina of Time? Was that the one, I think? And again, I just thought the graphics looked rubbish. It was the faces. Again, they had this, you know, they had like jaggy faces, sort of triangular, polygony looked faces. It just looked rubbish. So yeah, the N64 did not do anything for me at all. And I think that's possibly why some people love it, some people don't like it. Stuart Ashens, I watched the video that, sorry, the talk. Hang on a second, what is it? Oh sorry, you went up the stairs. Right, up you go. Got a dog wanting up the stairs and I had my tripod. I was going to use my camera to record this, but and I had it, he couldn't get up the stairs because I had the tripod sitting on it. Yeah, there's, I think, Stuart Ashens made quite a good point. One of the questions was, in light of all the sort of the new machines coming out, the Spectrum next and all, and there's a mini Commodore 64 coming out, is there a machine you would like to see get remade? And Stuart said yes, the N64, he says, because one, the original machine plugged into the TV looks shit, and it does, it looks absolutely crap. And secondly, if you try and emulate it, generally the emulators don't work that well. However, the machine that I bought, which I'm going to be putting the video out to next week, does play the N64 really well. It enhances the graphics, it makes them look a lot better than they would have originally. So I've actually I've got a second wind with N64, and I have actually been playing some games in it. You know, I wasn't bored at all when I sold it, but I've actually been using this new device to play N64 games. There's been a few games that I didn't even realise existed on the system, and I've been really enjoying. So yeah, I think it's definitely split. Yeah, so a new N64 would be excellent because, you know, if they made it look good on modern TVs. So yeah, that's possibly something. I dare say with the success of the SNES Mini and the Mini NES, I'm sure that will be something that we'll see at some point. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the N64, Kev. I says I'm not a massive fan of it, but who knows, if they bring out a new version that makes it look good, I might change my mind. Right, secondly, I am still loving PSVR and have noticed the bad business practices that are creeping into regular games like loot boxes and pay-to-win schemes have not yet happened in VR games. It feels like gaming from 10 years ago where you buy the full game and enjoy it for one price tag. Am I alone in this, or worse yet, is it inevitable that loot boxes and the like will sneak into VR games too? Unfortunately, Kev, I think it is only a matter of time before you start having to buy content in VR games. Now, before I forget, Kev, can you let me know? I mean, I've got to say, my VR has not been getting used very much this last while. One thing that I'm actually looking to do, and it was my daughter that actually made me aware that it was possible, you can actually connect your PSVR up to your computer, and what do you call it? And you can play it. You can use the PSVR headset and play like Oculus Rift and Vive games. So I'm looking into that. I think I'm going to have to get another cable. But yeah, as far as PSVR goes in the PlayStation, it is wonderful. But I've not bought any games since for a long time. What did I buy? I bought a Everest VR experience, which I thought was a bit rubbish. It was only about £6 or something, but I can't say I'm using it that much. But let me know, Kev, if there's any real must-do games you've got to buy. I mean, there's a lot of games coming out for it. I was on the Play Store maybe a month ago, and there are a lot of games coming out for it. But you know, full price, and I don't want to go spending £40 on a game if it's not going to be very good. So let me know what games are worth picking up. But yeah, getting back on track, yeah, I think the old in-app purchases and loot boxes, I mean, my daughter plays a lot of Overwatch, and I've got to say it's my pet hate when I see how much money she spends on it. She gets pocket money, and you know, my wife, she was like, she's not getting the money, she's not spending money on that game. And I was a bit like that to begin with. Then I thought to myself, wait a minute, when I was a kid, there were toys that I wanted, and my mum and dad would say, you're not getting that, it's a lot of rubbish. But I was a kid, and that's what I wanted. Kids want toys, you know. You can't apply the same adult philosophy on something as you would from a kid's perspective. It's a completely different thing. So I thought to myself, well, yeah, my daughter's still a kid, she's only 14. So to deny her of something that she wants just because I think it's a waste of money, you know, things have moved on. Society is different from what it was when I was a kid. So she gets pocket money, and what we've told her is, it's your money, you spend it on what you want. When the money runs out, don't come and ask for any more. It's up to you. You've got to budget, you've got to manage your money. So that's what we've done, and yeah, she has spent quite a bit of it. I mean, even there's like events that they have, and it's 30 quid to take part in an event. Now I can't get my head round that, because 30 quid is a brand new game for me. I just don't think I could spend £30 just to take part in a game that I've already bought. It just doesn't work with me. But you know what? It's my daughter's money. What she does with it is up to her. But yeah, it's the whole loot box thing. It's something that it's here to stay, unfortunately. I wish they would go back to the old days, the good old days where, as you say, you spent 30 quid, you got the game, that was it, everything was available. You know, maybe you had to unlock something through completing a level, but you didn't have to pay money. I mean, some of the games on Android are really good games, but they're all free, and it's because you've got adverts and you've got to buy currency and that just puts me off playing games. It really does. But as far as it going into VR, Kev, I think it's only a matter of time. I can't see any reason why that wouldn't happen. Possibly because VR is still quite a small niche, you know, sort of hobby. I mean, it's still quite an expensive thing to get into. You know, as well as your PlayStation, you've got to obviously buy the headset. I was watching the Gadget Show, which is a British TV programme where they look at gadgets and that kind of stuff. And I was watching the one from Christmas actually just last week, and each of the presenters had to pick an item that they said was going to be the most popular item at Christmas, and they had all these people, students and whatnot, playing the item, and the item that actually was the most popular was the PSVR. So yeah, I think the PSVR is here to stay, which is great, because I was really concerned that it was going to be one of these things that you buy. So I'm going to stop moving. I'm going like that, turning around. I thought I was worried it was going to be one of these things that I buy and it just doesn't get any games released for it. But that doesn't seem to be happening. There seems to be quite a lot of content. But let me know, Kev, if there's any games that I've got to buy. I was kind of hovering buying the is it the Carnival one? I know you did a video on it recently. I was kind of hovering over it, but I didn't, because I thought, nah, you know, I think it looks a bit too basic. But let me know if there's any must-have PSVR games. But yeah, I do think, to answer your question, I think it will eventually go down the route. I can't see any reason why it wouldn't. So yeah, that's number 2. Let me bring up Kev's questions again, and I'll just have a wee drink of my tea. Thirdly, and this still has to do with modern games, do you think consumers created the hunger for bigger and better graphics, or was it the developers who pushed for games to be so incredible? It reminds me of the movie industry today, where unless a film has bigger explosions and more action than its competitors, it fails at the box office, which could be the fault of the audience or it could be the fault of the producers. And I'm curious which one you feel has forced us to where we are today in games. I don't think it would be fair to say it was the consumer that forced us, because we can only play games that are made for us. It goes without saying, you know, when you look back at the early days of computers, you had your ZX81, which didn't have any sound and it had really blocky graphics, and people craved better graphics. So then we got the VIC-20, it had sound, it had colour, and the Spectrum, and the Commodore 64, then the Amiga. So over the period, the graphics have got better and better and better. And it's human nature, you want to have better looking games. And so of course, you know, we've now reached the stage where, especially on like the PC, the games just look absolutely mind-blowing. Does it make a better game? Hell no. Well, that's my opinion anyway. It doesn't make it a better game at all. I would be, and I've made this comment before, I would be quite content to, if, I don't know, the PlayStation 2, Xbox, original Xbox, I would have been quite happy if games technology had never gone beyond that. I would have, for me personally, I would be quite happy still playing games that, you know, that looked like an Xbox game. Yeah, I know, you know, online gaming is incredible. I don't really do any online gaming at all, but I understand why it is such a good thing, you know. You can have people all around the world all playing the same game. You can be playing a game of tennis with somebody from Korea, you can be playing FIFA with somebody down in Birmingham, whatever, you know, it's incredible, it brings people together. But for me personally, online gaming isn't something that I miss. If online gaming was to be done away with, it wouldn't bother me, and that's my honest opinion. I know it's because I'm an old gamer compared to, you know, younger people. It wouldn't bother me in the slightest, and I know a few other my friends. Dean, who's got a great YouTube channel, he's the very same. He doesn't do online gaming. He's very much, you know, the single player sort of story mode, and that's like I am. What was the question again? Yeah, have the audience forced companies to make these games? I don't think it's fair to say the public have done that, but it's we're all wanting bigger and better things, and it's the same with anything. You look at phones. I mean, we've now reached the stage where you can pay over £1,000 for a phone. I like my tech. There's no question of it. I mean, a lot of my friends call me the tech meister. You know, I'm a gadget freak. I wouldn't really say I'm a gadget freak as such, but I do like modern technology. Now, there's my phone there. It's the Galaxy, what do you call it? Samsung S6. You can tell I'm an old fart because I've got it in an old battered case. That's what I use to record my videos normally. This phone is what, I don't know, it's 3 years old, but you know what? It does me. I've got absolutely no interest in upgrading it. I'll get a new phone when it stops working, or when the battery, probably more likely the battery will start to kind of run down. I won't get that long out of it. But, you know, they're constantly bringing out bigger and better phones, and, you know, part of that is the price obviously goes up. So the public are constantly they're craving better technology, better cameras, bigger capacity, you know, screen recognition, thumb recognition, face recognition. You know, we just want the whole time, and that's the same with games. And so companies are going to bring out stuff that's going to sell because, you know, they're in it to make money. So I think it's a two-way thing. If a company brings out a machine or a game that has the best graphics ever, then the public are going to buy it. So the next company is going to want to bring out a game that's got even more amazing graphics, so the public buy it. So it's a two-way thing, and it's the nature of the beast. You know, I don't think we're ever going to as much as I would like it, I don't think they're ever going to one day say, right guys, enough's enough. As from now, there will be no more internet for games. There'll no be any 4K games. It's just going to be, you know, HD or whatever. That won't happen, Kev. But you know, like I said, it's a two-way thing. The public demand, the company's supply, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. So yeah, anyway, I think Kev's got one last question. You certainly have. And finally, what is the longest you have ever played a game? For myself, it was Space Invaders on Atari 2600, which I played for 8 hours solid and didn't even realise. Ah, right, okay, so you're talking about the longest you've played a game in one sitting. I'm trying to think. It would be an 8-bit game, I would imagine. I remember me and a mate, we played Elite right through the night. Probably played it for about 8 hours. Also played Street Manager, Football Manager, the original Football Manager with Kevin Toms on the Commodore 64. I remember playing that. Me and a mate, he came up to my house and we sat playing that right through the night. I think the game I probably played the longest in one sitting. Again, it was an old 8-bit machine, old 8-bit game called Hustler by Bubble Bus Software. I'll try and put a link to it up in the top corner. It was a pool game, a very, very basic pool game where the balls are actually square, or I think they were kind of diamond shaped balls. Yeah, a mate came up to we were addicted to this game. It was very simple, but we used to sit and play all the time. And this one time, he came up to the house and I think we did it. It was something like first 100 games, and we just played it right through. I don't know how many hours we played it, but yeah, I think these would probably be the games that I played for the longest. I've never been a gamer where I play for hours and hours and hours. I think I've got too many other things I want to do in my time. I mean, I've got friends who've played. They'll play games like what's it called, Mass Effect, and they'll put like 100 hours into it, and then they'll play it again. And I just couldn't do that. I'm sorry. As much as I love games, I just think it's a waste of time. Not that games are a waste of time, but I don't want to play a game for 100 hours or 10 hours in one go. So I think it would have to be these old 8-bit games. These were the ones that I played for the most time. I played plenty of games for months and months and months, but on one sitting I think it would have to be Hustler on the Commodore 64. So anyway, Kev, thanks as always for your really good questions. Right, moving on. We've got too many. I've still got about another 3 here to go. Lo-Fi Lurch as opposed to Hi-Fi Lurch. Your top 5 Commodore 64 musicians. Bonus points for mentioning some favourite tracks by each artist. Could I even name 5 Commodore musicians? I'm going to give it a go now. These are not in any particular order. First up would have to be Rob Hubbard. I mean, probably the most famous Commodore 64 programmer or musician. What he could do with his sound chip was just incredible. As far as my favourite songs, my favourite SID tune, bar none, would have to be Monty on the Run. It's an absolute staggering piece of work. I mean, I've watched, there's classical orchestras have played it. It's a wonderful piece of music on its own right, or in its own right I should say. How Rob managed to get the SID tune, or the SID chip, to do what he did was just incredible. I always think of Monty on the Run as like the Bohemian Rhapsody of the SID tunes. You know, it lasts about 5 minutes. It's like an opera of sound. There's so many things going on with that. If you've never ever heard Monty on the Run, then go and listen to it right now. It's just a wonderful piece of music. What I'll do is I'll try and name 3 SID tunes by each artist. One of my other favourite Rob Hubbard tracks would have to be Commando. It's a staggering piece of music. You know, the sound that he gets out of it is amazing, really good. And third, these are not, again, they're not in any particular order. One of my other favourite tracks would probably be Sanction. Is it the loading music? I think it is amazing. How we managed to get that. It's like a, what would you describe it as? A grungy technology, machiney type noise that he used for the load, the loading music in Sanction. Just amazing. But yeah, Rob Hubbard without a doubt. Another one would be Martin Galway. Again, he has managed to do stuff with a synth chip that I never thought possible. Favourite tracks, Whizball is by far and away one of my favourite tracks. Hyper Sports, Chariots of Fire. Again, that was a track that I would just sit and listen to. I would load the game up. As much as I loved the game, I'd load it up just to listen to music. And what else? Oh, he's done so many. I mean, Parallax. I'm not a big fan of Parallax, I've got to say. The loading tune from Ocean is one of my favourite Sid tunes. That was another Martin Galway. Although I think the later ones, once Martin left and joined Sensible Software, I think it was another person that took over. But Martin Galway. Third, I'd probably be struggling to actually name three musicians. Third would be Ben Dalglish. He's done some amazing music. If you've never listened to The Last Ninja, it's an amazing piece of music. It lasts for such a long time. Loco was Ben did Loco for what do you call it? For Tony Crowther's Loco game. Did Ben Dalglish do Suicide Express? Because that is one of my favourite tunes as well. I don't know if he did do it. I think he did. If he didn't, it's one of my favourite tunes. But yeah, Ben Dalglish as well. Another one who's probably less well known unless you were one of the early adopters of the Commodore 64 and you had access to the internet of its day, CompuNet. There was a guy who went by the name of the Mighty Bog, and I think his name was Graham Marsh. He did like Commodore 64 versions of music tracks that was in the charts, back in the day. So you had things like Kaylee by Marillion, you had Everyone Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears, you had various Depeche Mode songs, you had Axel F. The Mighty Bog has done the best Axel F ever, in my opinion. Howard Jones, various other tunes. He also did some other sort of non like music hits. One called Death, which has got a noise in it which is just scary. You can imagine death when you listen to this. So yeah, the Mighty Bog, he would be another one. I can't really think. I mean, is it Jerome Tell? He's done some amazing work on certainly on the Commodore Amiga, some stunning soundtracks. I mean, David Whittaker done some great SID tunes as well. There's so many. Fred Gray did a lot as well. Then you had what was his name? I've completely forgotten his name. Doesn't matter. But he was on the 16-bit. But yeah, I can't really think of any. I mean, there's lots of other really good SID tunes, but I can't actually tell you who wrote them. So anyway, listen, that was a great question. What we called again? Lo-Fi Lurch. You any relation to Lurch that posts on my YouTube channel? You can let me know if you are. Anyway, thanks for that, mate. Right, Ian Hunter, a rather crap waffle question, mate. How was Blackpool? Well, I've already answered that, Ian. Hopefully that would answer your question. And next one is Wee Bob. Have you ever played Let Sleeping Dogs Lie on the PS3 or any console? It has to be one of my favourite games, and the fighting parts of it reminded me of Exploding Fist or Target Renegade. If you haven't, you should give it a look. It is open world like GTA, not the best car physics, but a really great game. As for the Q&A, I think we would be able to see you. Yeah, that's right. The Q&A thing, which I didn't do, I was asking people, do you want me to appear in camera? Sadly, you do want me to appear, I think, so we'll try and get that organised. But yeah, let sleeping dogs lie. I've not actually bought it. I'm not a big fan of these open world games. I've got Grand Theft Auto 5, and it's an amazing game. I mean, there's no question, it is an absolutely incredible game. Or I would call it a tech demo. It's an incredible example of what you can do with modern technology. I mean, I was gibbering on earlier on about saying how modern games aren't that good. Well, something like Grand Theft Auto 5 is an incredible game. It's not a game that I really enjoy playing, but I like to just dip into it and noodle about, just drive about and do, you know, silly things. Let Sleeping Dogs Lie, I didn't buy it because I'm not a big fan of these types of games, but I did buy it on the PC, yeah, on Steam, and is it kind of set in Japan or Hong Kong or something, I think. I did play it for a very, very short space of time, and like I usually do, I've moved on. I gave up and moved on to something else. I will go back to it. The fact that you're saying the sort of the fighting is very reminiscent of Exploding Fist has kind of got me interested. So yeah, I'll definitely go and have a look at it. But anyway, mate, thanks for your question. That's awesome beans as always. And the last question is Mr. Panther UK. The C64 Mini, which I am bloody excited about, is getting the same flack from the odd purist or two, even though the pre-orders are selling out. I am with you in emulation. The big plus for me is my most used PC for entertainment is connected to a 47-inch telly in my front room, and I have USB faithful reproductions of various old school controllers. So after our conversation earlier in the week about my broken bread bin for next week, what are your thoughts on the C64 Mini, the forthcoming full-size Mini, and my planned attempt to recap and resurrect my old Commodore 64? Yeah, the old purist thing, which I mentioned last week. I upset somebody because I had a go at purists when I was talking about the SNES Mini, and sadly one of the guys that watches my channel got rather upset and decided to walk away from the channel, which was a shame because he was quite a regular contributor, and I think it's quite disappointing that people can't understand that we're all entitled to our own opinions, and it is just that, it is my opinion, nothing more. You know, you shouldn't get upset about it, it's just a video game at the end of the day. I still stand by what I say. People that dismiss the SNES Mini as shite, I think, you know, is a silly attitude. I mean, I was playing my SNES Mini last week. I was playing it the other day there actually. It's brilliant, it really is. You know, and to say that you can get a SNES, you're better off getting an original SNES because you can get one for cheaper. Well, I disagree. If you can get a SNES Mini for RRP of about 60 quid, you've got access to about 300 games, all looking glorious, plugged into your TV, no pissing about with HDMI, with SCART cables. Just plug it into any HDMI TV and away you go. So I think for people to dismiss it, I think it's absolute nonsense. But anyway, I do hope, not that you're going to be watching this, you know, it'd be nice to see you coming back, but if you choose to not come back, it's up to you. But yeah, going back to the C64 Mini, I've not really seen too much about it. I know Jeff Minter, he was given one, and he seems to rate it very highly. The one thing that would put me off getting a SNES Mini is it doesn't really look like anything better than like a Raspberry Pi, you know, because the Mini one, it looks like a Commodore 64, but the keyboard isn't a real keyboard. You know, you need to plug in a keyboard or probably use a Bluetooth keyboard. So yeah, to me it looks like a Raspberry Pi in a fancy kind of shell, a Commodore 64 shell. The full size one I would be interested in, because I mean, I'm getting the Spectrum next, and the reason I like getting modern incarnations of old hardware is the original hardware is going to fail. You know, it was never designed to be working 30 years later. So it's going to get to a point where my Commodore 64 is going to stop working, and then I'm going to have a problem, you know. So if I can buy a modern reinvention of it, then I will, because it's going to mean that I can continue to play my Commodore 64 games, you know, into the future. And that's why I'm getting the Spectrum next. I mean, I have got it's called a Just Specky, which was a brand new Spectrum, albeit, you know, it fits inside the rubber keyboard, and it's great because it means I can load games from the SD card and I can plug it into the SCART using the VGA. So yeah, if the full price, not the full price, if the full size one comes out, I will definitely be interested. Saying that, I'll probably still end up getting the C64 Mini, because that's what I'm like, you know. I'll need to go and actually watch a video and see what it looks like. As far as getting your main one, your original one, Chris, getting it recapped, I hear people talking about that all the time, recapping machines. Now, unfortunately, I have got no skill at all to do that. I would love to be able to recap my machines, because people say it's basically, it makes it like brand new. The problem I've got is I've got all these different machines, and if they stop working, I mean, I've got the perfect example, my PC Engine Duo, which is like the CD system. It stopped working. The laser just doesn't move. It moves one way, but then it doesn't. It kind of jams. It won't move back and forwards. And so I've managed to, one of my mates managed to source a replacement laser. Now the laser was 30 quid, so it's quite a bit of money that I've had to fork out. I've not got it yet. Hopefully it might even arrive today actually. What day is this? Is Friday. It might even arrive today. With any luck, if I swap that over, it'll start working again. But if it's not, then I'm just going to knock it in the head, and I'm going to have to sell it for parts, which is a pain in the arse. But you know, I don't want to start forking out big money to keep these old machines going, because I'm completely non-technical. I've not got the expertise or the know-how to fix these machines. But as far as you recapping your C64, if you can get your C64 working again, you absolutely should, because there is nothing, you know, beats using real hardware. That's the thing. The guy that got upset about my purist comments, I'm a purist. I love playing games on real hardware. I don't care what anybody says, you can't beat the experience playing a game on the original hardware. It feels different, it feels real. You've got the actual unit in front of you, you've got the keyboard, you've got the proper joystick, it's all about the controls as well. So I absolutely love using real hardware. And yeah, I do use emulators for recording videos, but when it comes to actual using hardware, playing a game, I would never choose to play a Commodore 64 game on my PC. I'll always go upstairs and use the real thing. So if you can get it working, Chris, you absolutely should. Excuse me. And you also need to get yourself, what do you call it, the Ultimate 2 cartridge. It is an amazing add-on. It gives you access to every game, cartridge, disc, tape, you name it. It's an amazing thing. So absolutely. But yeah, I'll probably end up getting the C64 Mini, because that's what I'm like. So anyway guys, listen, I don't know how long this one's, it's probably going on for almost an hour. Apologies about the crap video quality. I just wanted to get this put out. It's a lot easier than having to kind of fanny about with my camera. I am kind of going to look at maybe trying to pick up something better, because the problem I've got with that, using a phone, is I can only get, you know, I don't know, about an hour's worth of talk or half an hour, and then it cuts out and then it goes on to a new file. So I'm going to try and get myself something different. I will get the Q&A thing put out at some point. Yeah, I've got plenty of ideas for new videos. Excuse me. Thanks again to all the new subscribers. I mean, the number seems to be going up again, which is great. I mean, I'm not far off 2,000 subs. I've got about another 140, but the way it's kind of going up, I'm getting, you know, maybe a couple a day, whatever, which is just wonderful. Thanks to everybody that supports the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you enjoy watching the content, please do subscribe. I always appreciate any thumbs up or thumbs down, as the case may be. It's all good. Thanks to all the continued support that you guys give me. As I keep saying, if it wasn't for the fact that I know people are watching the videos, then I would probably knock this on the head. But I'm having way too much good fun to do that. So anyway, guys, I hope you have an absolute ace weekend. And as usual, thank you very much for watching.